What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this week on Week in Review, I really went into CIG on their cargo UI and how most of it was just a giant useless ship in the middle. And then I tried to take a step back and calm down and understand why something like this may have happened. But at the moment, I didn't have what we have now, which was Ben Dorsey of ISC fame and this specific UI rework going on Spectrum and sharing a lot more information about what's going on with the UI and why we are seeing it the way we did. And right away, he starts talking about the elephant in the room, which is the giant ship in the middle that has seemingly no point in being there. And he explained that they wanted to use this for displaying the cargo actually loading into our ship, NPC loading details, mass distribution, all sorts of things like that. And in retrospect, I did even mention this on Week in Review, that I had a feeling that this is what was going on there. But regardless of their intentions here, guys, history does play a factor in this. And there is a huge chance that we're going to be stuck with this kind of useless, in a way, UI for some time. And as you could see, I just showed quite a few concepts that are in much more detail than we saw on ISC. And you might ask the question, why didn't we see that on ISC? And he responds to that. They only want to show us what they feel they can deliver for that patch coming up. And that's a good thing. In the past, we had issues where they were over-promising and under-delivering. They're going in the opposite direction now, and in general, that I think is a good thing, because if we did get that over-promise on what the UI would be, and then this ship just sitting there in the middle, I think we would have been more upset than we are now. And the next thing he talked about was something that kind of caught me off guard. They wanted to make the UI great, and they thought it would delay PES for months if they did. It's obvious that a lot of people at the company are working on it, that's PES and persistence entity streaming in general. This is like the major persistence tech for Star Citizen, but I would have never expected a cargo UI functionality would have slowed it down forever. How does cargo functionality affect the development of PES? I know that they're intertwined in a way, but that was something that did catch me off guard a little bit, and the idea of it being delayed for months. They even went into why they're not able to do things that they would like to do, even going so far to say that they had to steal an engineer from another team just to get what we saw on ISC. And this is where I come in. A guy who just wants the game to be as good as it can be, right? And the lack of time got me thinking. It's completely obvious that Squadron 42 and the general massive nature of Star Citizen and all its features contribute to the delays and frustration about the lack of progress from the game. And what's even more frustrating at times is Star Citizen's history. And I'm going to compare UI to UI here. Let's use the inventory UI and them saying, hey guys, we would love to do a store all button, or we would love to stack everything, but we just don't have time. So you're going to be left with one of the most frustrating UIs that I've ever had to deal with in my entire life. This, I don't think, will fall to the same fate. It just doesn't have as much functionality as we would like to see it have, and there's a bit of wasted space. But there's a very good chance that this could be the exact same situation. They do a little bit on something, and then they move on to the next thing. So it's very possible that we're going to be kind of stuck with this cargo UI and its lack of functionality for a little while here. I also want to ask you guys this, and kind of thinking about this UI problem and the lack of time / developers that they have to work on what I feel are key features for the game. And this could be post 4.0 and PES. It probably makes more sense after that. But if everyone needs other teams to help finish their work, why aren't we scheduling patches that have more of a theme? For example, 3.18 could be the cargo themed patch, where everyone that is working at the PU, which we know is like 3 people and a toothpick and a hamster and a wheel at nowadays, given the Squadron 42 thing that I mentioned earlier, is working towards the same goals, right? If you aren't waiting on someone to finish work completely on something entirely different than what you're doing, it would probably be a lot better. I imagine meetings would be incredibly focused on ideas and designs for cargo, things like that. Then if everyone at the company is on the same page, because I don't know about you guys, but at times Does it not feel like one team is working on one thing, another team is working on another, and the company necessarily may not be on the same page, right? And it feels like the idea of agile development is a weird thing where everyone's kind of doing their own thing, but nobody's really achieving the goal of the game, because at the very end, that's when all those things kind of happen. But in a game that's out there and is being played now, it does feel weird. So it just feels like the direction of the game could go there, but being somebody that is basically useless and has no idea about game development, I'm sure there's a perfectly good reason why they don't do these things. But in principle, to me, it just makes sense. So I kind of wanted to throw that idea out there and see what you guys thought about it. And yeah, like software devs out there, armchair devs, everyone, it just got my head scratching. Like, why don't we do it like this if the issue is not having people working on the same things together? Yeah. It just seems like that's been a massive problem with CIG over the years, and it seemed like an idea that isn't like this monumental one, so it's obviously there's a reason behind it that why they don't do it. But yeah, it just seems like it would make sense, and maybe it's like a more longer-term thing in the future. So that'll do it for today, guys. Leave a like, comment, let me know what you guys thought about these themed patches and the UI updates and their kind of thoughts on that, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.